Jealousy and envy truly rears its ugly head during the holiday season. During that time, you will see who's a hater and who's not. You will see who is truly for you and who is against you during that time. You will be in close proximity normally with people that you might not have seen in a long time, people you might not associate with. Look, people that you might not even like, and it can be your closest friends and family members. But during that time, that is when a lot of jealousy, envy, and hateration is normally expressed. And you have to know how to deal with it without destroying the entire event or the entire holiday season for yourself and others. But first, like and subscribe to this channel and share this content. Hit the notification bell so that you're aware when I post a brand new video. Jealous people, envious people normally show their ugly head during the holiday season. You see this a lot of times when you are dealing with family members that you haven't seen in a long time. And let me say this disclaimer because I know there's some people who seek to be confused or to argue. This does not apply to all families. This does not apply to all situations. I am talking about people who have a spirit of jealousy and envy about them. People like that normally can't contain it around the holiday season, and it's expressed in how they interact with you. When you are dealing with friends or family who are envious and jealous of you, they like to take little pot shots at you about the new things that you have done in your life throughout the year. That's why I like to keep things in a very general tone. When you're speaking to friends and family member, I know many of us have that habit of telling people word for word, instruction per instruction, everything that we have accomplished, everything we want to work on, everything that we have a problem with throughout the year. But during the holiday season, that is not really the time to give everybody your itinerary or to-do list of everything you want to accomplish. The reason being is because a lot of times, especially when you're doing things that are good, you have people who use that as an opportunity to either remind you of where you came from or to bring up something that is negative in order to override the positive thing that you just said to them. And you have some people, and a lot of people have experienced this, and not to be too personal, but some people don't even want to come in your house, all because they feel some kind of way about how you live. You might have different friends and family members who always have an excuse as into why they're not going to visit for the holidays, why they can't come over. You know, their husband's sick, their cat is sick, they got to work 3 and 4 shifts. They'll make up anything in order not to come into your home. You see, there are some people who they feel like they are less than when they're in your presence. Or you might be that person because it works both ways. And that's part of the reason why myself and I'm sure other people don't really do the whole holiday season or go all out like we used to, because it invokes feelings that I don't believe God even wants you to have. Like, you shouldn't get in the presence of somebody else and suddenly feel like you're less than. And somebody shouldn't get in your presence and feel like they have not yet measured up to where you are. But yet, during the holiday season, you have many people who feel that way. As I was saying, they'll come into your house and you might have very nice, decor in your house. Your house might be very well put together. You give time and attention to the details of your home. And if somebody is jealous and envious, they will say little things about the good things that you have in your house. Oh, why does this sink look like this? Why do you have 2 sinks? Why is it like this? Why is it like that? All because they're not accustomed to better things. Or why do you have so many throw pillows? Why do you have so many, little blankets and cute, like, what do you need that for? That's just too much. I don't like all that clutter. I've heard somebody say that. And it's all because they're not accustomed to nice things. So when they see things in your house, and granted, some of the things in your house, these do not have to be top end things. I'm telling you this. It's not about money. It's about how you carry yourself and the way you live and the way you carry your household. Everything you have in your house can be from like Walmart and Target. But somebody who has such a low level thinking about themselves, they will be threatened by your Walmart and Target home decor. They will be threatened by your TJ Maxx or Marshalls, attire that you wear. And because you wear it well, and they are used to more toxic, ratchet behavior, and they're not accustomed to just having nothing, like the old folks used to say, you're not used to having nothing. Because of that, they take little pot shots at you. And in order to avoid that, which is wise on their part, they might not even come into your home. So during this holiday season, if you have some people that, they're always putting you off every week, not every week, every year, they can never come to your house, they can never come to your events, they can never come around. You have to think, sometimes people are so self-conscious, they are so insecure about themselves and their lives that they just can't be around you because it makes them feel some kind of way. It makes them feel like they're not measuring up. Now, on the reverse side of during the holidays, you can often come into somebody's house and you might feel like somebody is throwing all of the things they have in your face. You might feel like people are rubbing in your face that they live in this nice big house. They live in this area. They're doing this. They bought a new car. They're doing that. As human beings, all of us have moments of feeling jealous or feeling like we don't measure up in some way. It's not abnormal to feel that way. But the issue comes in when you can't be around other people who you perceive are doing better than you without causing some kind of drama or saying something negative. If you are that kind of person that feels easily intimidated and easily threatened by people who you perceive to have more, it might be best for you to count that one out, sit that one out. Look, I went through many times where I wasn't jealous of the people, but because I felt like they were moving faster than me. And a lot of people go through that where they feel like by a certain time, by a certain age, you should be at a certain point. And if you're around people who are in your same age bracket and they're doing perceivingly better than you, that will make you feel some kind of way if you have some insecurity. And you don't want to be that person that is, how can I say it? You don't know how to enjoy the fruits of other people's labor. I have learned to enjoy the fruits of other people's labor, meaning don't feel intimidated by what they have. If you're in the presence of somebody and they have a huge house, they're serving up lobster, shrimp, steaks, all these different things that you might not be able to eat on the regular. I'm just saying that as an example. Instead of coming into their home and saying, oh, they eating lobsters and steaks and all of that, enjoy that lobster, enjoy that steak, enjoy that shrimp, enjoy that big space and all of the stuff they have, and use that as motivation, inspiration for yourself. When I got into that mode of not feeling like I don't measure up to where somebody else is and using it as inspiration, it made me feel more comfortable going into circles where people were doing and they have the things that I want to have. But if you're a hater and you walk in always looking to have issue with somebody's stuff, all because they might have, they worked really hard for something or whatever the situation may be, you will never get to the place you want to be. So this holiday season, when you go into somebody's home, don't feel intimidated because their house might be bigger than yours. They might have more stuff, whatever it is. Enjoy the fruits of them people's labor, number one. Enjoy all that good food, okay? There's nothing better to just go in and be in the moment. And part of being a feminine woman is not always thinking about the future and worrying about everything in the future. Enjoy the moment. And when you do that, you are not going to be easily intimidated or threatened by anything or anyone because you're just enjoying the environment. When you think that way, you can kind of ward off those feelings of jealousy, envy, or feeling like you don't measure up. But back to when you are the one that is the subject or the subject of somebody's envy and jealousy. You have to understand that, as I was saying in the previous point, many people feel like they don't measure up. And some people actually use you as the benchmark as into when they think they have made it. When they have gotten to the level that you've gotten to, or they're able to interact with you in the same way and do the same things that you're doing, a lot of people feel like they have made it. And in those cases, you really have to just see that, okay, this person, they're not fulfilled in their life. And that's the reason why they're acting the way they do. Now, that doesn't mean you have to subject yourself to their nonsense and the little pot shots and the little things they say, because let's be real, a lot of friends and family members that have a lot to say, they're normally the most messiest ones about them. And I'm not going to throw out different situations, but if you are in a family, especially a Black family, I know you know, and this is all families, but I speak to what I know. You know that most of the time, the people who talk the most smack, the most mess, are often the messiest people. And because of that, you kind of have to just be like, they have nothing else going on. God bless them. Let me eat this food and get out of here. And then also about the food part, during the holidays, don't feel pressured to be around people you don't want to be around. Now, a lot of people work the holiday. I keep hearing they like to get time and a half and all this stuff. And by all means, if you're not worried about the holidays and you have the opportunity to go make money and you're okay with that, do that. Some people do that, not just because they have to, but because they don't want to deal with all of the drama and tension on all of that come with the holidays. And if you decide that, you love your mother, you love your father, you love your closest cousin and maybe one of your aunts, but you don't want to be bothered with the rest of them, you don't have to. You don't even have to show up. I think, and this is another issue that I take with the holiday, it's like some way we've been programmed to believe that during certain holidays, we have to deal with toxic behavior, deal with being disrespected, and all for 'tis the season. I don't subscribe to that. If you irritate me on a regular Wednesday, I don't care if it's Thanksgiving, Christmas, Hanukkah, I'm not dealing with you. My spirit will always be the most important thing. I can see my mama anytime. I can see my dad anytime. You have to really think like that, because if you are a woman, especially a woman going back to femininity, and you want to live a more peaceful, soft existence, you can't be around people that are going to take you back to the way you used to be. All of us have a used to be way. I know for many years, being around certain family members would trigger the old side of me. I went from being that softer, gentle, feminine woman to they got one more time to say something. They got one more time. They got one more time. And I do not. I haven't been in that mode in a very long time. But you all know there are certain family members, friends that can bring that right up out of you. They can bring that about that life side right out of you, especially if you're a city girl, you've been raised up in the hood, maybe in the city, you still have that side of yourself. If triggered, it will come out. And when you don't want that to be your character, you did the work to get rid of that image. You don't want to be around people who are going to trigger you to get back into that. I'll tell you one example. One time I was dealing with family, me and my brothers and all of that, and I had an argument with somebody over something, and it trickled over into when I got back home. We were arguing on the phone, and I was cussing up a storm, and my husband was on the phone with his father at the time, and he overheard me, and he said, I never heard her talk like that before. And he was getting a kick out of it because I was laying into this family member. I mean, that old military side of me, I used to be a soldier. I was in the National Guard. That military side, that voice and the cussing combined, it was like chef's ghetto kiss. I was in my element at the time, laying into that person. After the fact, I'm like, why did I let them take me there? Why did I let them get me out of character? I'm not like that. It takes a lot for me to get upset. And yet, because it was the holiday season, 'tis the season, and I wanted to be around family and have that vibe, and it did nothing but bring me out of character, and I had to wind myself down. I left the state, came back to my home, and was still pissed off about what happened. Who has time for that during the holiday season? So the point of me telling you this story is that a lot of times you'll be around people who will trigger you and bring the worst up out of you. And while we do exercise a level of self-control, let's be real. There are some people that you just need to avoid or keep less contact as possible at all costs because they bring the worst out of you. And what happens, especially for people like myself and others who are like me, when you're normally that calm, friendly, kind person and you're around the person that triggered you, you're going to be looked at as the villain. You're going to be looked at as, oh, she didn't have to talk to that girl like that. She didn't have to say that. She didn't have to possibly lay hands or whatever you have to do. I mean, things get real crazy when you get around people who are just picking and picking. And it doesn't even have to be jealousy. It can just be toxic behavior, obnoxious behavior that they have that brings the worst up out of you. So I say that to say, if you decide to sit this family gathering out, if you decide to stay home and watch your Netflix, maybe you cooked a little something for yourself, for your immediate family, and you want to enjoy that and just be in your house, do that. If you want to go outside, go to the movie. I don't know if the movies are showing on Thanksgiving, but go to the movie. You made a restaurant, reservation. Do that. Don't feel like you have to deal with people you don't want to deal with all because it's the holiday. That is the point of everything I'm saying. Because a lot of times people, especially when you haven't seen them in a long time, either they're going to be very happy to see you, depending on the situation, or they just have to say something or do something. And at that time, your mental and spiritual maturity is going to be tested. And I am the queen of saying, oh, that's wonderful. Or, okay, everything is okay. I can't do it. It's like I don't have it in me to argue and go back and forth with anybody. Like if it's not pertinent to my money, my children, or nothing affecting my spiritual, I just can't do it. I don't want to deal with it. And if you're a person I perceive that is going to trigger me in some way and try to get me back to that old way, I just can't deal with you. Holiday or no holiday, I'll see you around. You know what I mean? So don't feel the pressure to have to deal with things you don't want to, all because it's the holiday. And if you are a woman who struggles to be in different environments because you feel like people are throwing things in your face. Now, on that part, you have some family, they are throwing things in your face. That's just what it is. They like to brag and boast. They're not telling you about what they accomplished. They just like to brag and boast. You'll ask them how they're doing and they tell you about everything they bought. They'll tell you about every vacation they bid on. They'll tell you about the vacations coming in the future. They tell you about everything. And that's not a good look. It's not a good feeling. Even if you're not a jealous person, it's like, come on, I know what you're trying to do. And a lot of times when people have to overcompensate like that, especially with things that are material, it's because they don't really have anything intrinsically because they're struggling. A lot of times they're dealing with mental issues, and I'm saying that in a sensitive way. If you have mental issues, if you have depression, anxiety, those things are serious and get help. But a lot of people try to mask the deeper issues. My point being, they like to mask the deeper issues with all of the things they bought, all of the places they went, all of that kind of stuff. And you might not have went anywhere, but you're at peace. You might not have a lot of things, but you're at ease on the inside. Yeah, this video could probably be like 45 minutes to an hour long. I'll probably make a part 2. But the holiday season really, if you observe and really see things, you start seeing like, who has time for this kind of stuff? I love people. I care for people, but I just don't have the time. Mentally, I can't do it. And if you're a feminine woman looking to stay in that soft feminine energy, this holiday season, don't be around people that's going to bring out that side of you. You just don't want to let them do that to you, okay? Like and subscribe to the channel and share this content. Hit the notification bell so that you're aware when I post a brand new video. If you watch this video until the very end, I absolutely appreciate you. Leave the high heel emoji in the comment section. I absolutely love to see it. Take care.